Sagittarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-November 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Sagittarius collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the Saggies in mid-November? We are just around the corner from Sagittarius season. So I've been saying for the past couple weeks, I hope you're planning. But yeah, let's see what energies, messages, and insights we can take a peek at this week. And we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Saggy. Please and thank you. What's the vibe? What's the energy around my good friends here in mid-November? There we go. Thank you. All right, the Helping Hands. I like this card. It's very serene and peaceful. So again, if you've been going through a stressful time, I like this energy. It's highly spiritual as well. Extremely optimistic way to start off a reading because it just feels soothing to me, regardless what shows up within tarot. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the November subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more about this card. So you see it here. There's a lovely lady. She's in the middle of the card. It looks like she's taking a nap, having a little snooze, and she is surrounded by these hands. So to me, it just really invokes a feeling of spiritual protection. So for some Saggies, maybe that's just a message you need to hear. Like your guides, spirit team, angels, ancestors, they're with you, they're watching you, even when you don't see it. At all times, especially when it's showing somebody sleeping here. Now, for a small portion of you, watch your dreams in this time. You might be having some very vivid, interesting dreams when this card shows up. But aside from the spiritual protection, it's the Helping Hands. That's what I've named it, right? That's not the literal name for the card. So anything surrounding assistance. So if you're having an issue or you feel like you need assistance, don't be afraid to ask for it. Don't be afraid to look for it. Okay, like everyone needs help from time to time. That's why human beings are community beings, right? Like sometimes we need a hand. But I would also say don't be surprised if somebody needs yours too. Okay? And Sagittarians are very philanthropic type of individuals. So it wouldn't surprise me if someone comes up to you in this time and asks for your help with something. But yeah, very spiritual, beautiful, soothing. So again, any issues you're having could start to soothe. We're going to leave it at that for now. Let's see what tarot has for you this week. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it one time here for my Saggies. What's happening? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled A Surprising Problem. So for the coming days and weeks, I always say the energy can bleed over. Just watch out for things popping up out of nowhere that might kind of catch you off guard, where it's like, okay, things were going smooth. What the heck is this? It's like giving me that kind of vibe. So it doesn't have to be anything major. It could be anything from like delays to something having to think on your feet because something didn't go as planned. But we're going to see what energy shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody that you're linked to. Let's get it going. 3 cards here for the Saggies. What's going on? Please and thank you. Thank you. Star. Beautiful. So it's invoking a similar energy that I'm picking up with this very first card. Now, I do like the star. There's a lot of potential with this card. We'll get into it. Again, it doesn't make the whole reading, but that's a good way to start. Let's get a couple more. Let's get a couple more here for Saggy. What do we have in mid-November? Yep. And it's funny how I was speaking of optimism and that card came out, but we do have the 7 of Swords balancing things off. So we may have some of the things we were seeing last week showing up here as well. Let's get one more. Let's see what we got. What do we have for Saggy mid-November? It doesn't have to be a bad thing, the 7 of Swords. And there we go. We have the counterbalance to the 7 of Swords. We have the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth, showing up here right on the back end, just in the nick of time. I don't know why I feel like saying it like that, but this is the counterbalance to that 7 of Swords, that's for sure. And you also have a bonus that came out with that Ace of Swords. We have the Strength card chilling right here. So this does seem good, and similar to that first card, I feel like if things are popping up or things that you're dealing with right now, there's a lot of energetic support around you here. Now let's go through piece by piece, and I'll give you the classical meanings and archetypes. But at first look, first glance, lots of air. Okay, all the main part of the spread is air energy. We have the star, even though that's a water bearer, that's Aquarius energy, that's air. Seven of Swords, air. Ace of Swords, air. A little bit of fire there on the back end. But air represents communication, speaking, talking, but also logic, how you interpret things, how you think about things with your mind. It's not as imaginative as the cup suit. So to me, it's like very straightforward to the point. So when I get a lot of air, it's like straight to the point, and it can be a little stern sometimes. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays, especially since we already have a little fire sparking off on the back end. But let's go through piece by piece and build this out. Position number one, we're starting with the star. Now, as I mentioned, this is the card that links to the Aquarius collective. You might be linked to an Aquarius. That doesn't always have to be the case. To me, this is a card that looks at the big picture. Of course, it could represent wish fulfillment, wins, victories, great things coming in for you, whether it's things you've been working towards for a long time, things you've been waiting on for a long time. This is a highly hopeful, optimistic type of card. So for some Saggies, whatever you're going through, you might just need to hold on to your sense of optimism or see a silver lining when this card shows up. Now, every card has a positive and a challenge. So all the positives that I just said about this card, the wins, the victories, wish fulfillment, hopefulness, optimism, this card in its reverse form could represent the complete opposite of that, obviously. So watch out that there's no situation that's making you feel hopeless or make you feel like, oh yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if this is possible. I'm not going to tell you that's exactly what it is, but just watch out for swings like that when the star is in the mix. Another thing I like to say about the star, yes, it's big picture. It does speak of long periods of time. The star doesn't represent something that's coming in today or tomorrow. We're talking things that are way down the pipeline, possible years when the star is here. Let's just keep moving though, because that can be something that pays off for you in the end. Moving to the center, this is the card that we really want to keep a very close eye on. So whether this is the situation you're dealing with that you need to keep a very close eye on or something you need to be made aware of, the Seven of Swords is not all bad. It does have some positives to it. And the positive sense of this card is just the mysterious factor. It could just represent a situation or something that's outside of your view, something that you don't quite know about yet, something that you don't quite see. So whatever situations you're dealing with, there might be some factors involved where it's like, all right, well, I need the full picture before I decide on something, or you might need to look for a little more detail. Hopefully you're not left in the dark about something when this card is here. But the challenges of the Seven of Swords are many. And I'm always honest with you. You know that the Seven of Swords, it could represent untrustworthy individuals. It could represent liars and thieves. It could represent people that we really need to watch out for. So I feel like this can be a warning per se. But I do want to mention the fact that we have all the spiritual protection here, the star, the sword of truth. I do feel like you're protected, but you still need to be cautious about someone or a situation, something. And we'll take a look at this. I don't want to completely say that this is a person just yet. I don't want to, this isn't fear factor, right? So we're going to put that Seven of Swords back down right there. Now moving to the back end, as I've been mentioning since the beginning, this is the antidote. We have the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth. That's the nickname for this card. So when we have a card that's very obscured and we have the Sword of Truth right next to it, it's really digging into the details of something. That's why I've been saying there could be a situation or something that just needs a little more scrutiny, needs your attention, needs bigger pictures, especially with the star, the big picture. There might be something where you need more details or more details are going to arise. Okay, because yeah, this card in the center is secrecy. Now the Ace of Swords, aside from being the Sword of Truth, it could represent a very sharp intellectual mind. Okay, this could represent how we look at something. So for some of you, yeah, whether it is serious or not, the Ace of Swords is like cutting emotion out of a decision. That could be very possible with this card as well. For some Saggies, there might be certain things that you're wanting to stop putting energy into, things that you don't want in your life. And I'm not saying that definitely has to be a person. It could be a habit. It could be behaviors. It could be certain things that are a little draining. The Ace of Swords often comes up when that's in the mix. Now, all aces do represent opportunities, offers, and talks. Okay, so, and a big theme I've been seeing around all the fire signs this week is a very strong prominence of communication, and it's still here with the Ace of Swords. So we could be seeing a talk of some kind. On to the back end, we do have The Strength card, Leo energy. If you're not connected to Leo, this is very angelic, like we've been seeing. This is also a card of someone's personality, who they are on the inside, someone who has a strong sense of character about them and the strength to get through anything. So this is a beautiful card. Now we're just going to place it down right there. Yeah, that's another footnote, but yeah, Sag, I want to dive deeper. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What is going on with my good friends? What is happening? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the star. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Saggy, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, star card. What's going on? What is happening? 2 wands, cool. All right, so in life, and I don't want to go on like a whole preaching thing. I'm not going to sit here and pontificate to you and wax poetic about things, but when I see the 2 wands in reverse, that does represent unplanned. And yeah, for some of you, this could be a very simple, straightforward message where it's like, okay, you got something really good coming in that you don't even see just yet. So that could be an unexpected win of some sort or a victory, which is good. That's kind of like the opposite that I saw for you last week, but I feel like this energy has been around you. Now, the thing that I didn't want to go on a whole big speech about, the fact that the 2 wands is here in reverse, it represents someone not having an exact plan for how they're going to do something, or not an exact plan or how something's going to like really work out in the end. And I just feel like saying, listen, in life with all situations, we don't need to know every single step that we're going to take. There's always going to be mystery tied into certain things. We just need to know the final destination. So with whatever situations you're dealing with right now, what is your best final scenario? Like, where do you want this to be? What would be your best outcome with whatever situation you're dealing with? That's what this tells me. You don't need to know every single step or how it's going to take to get there. You think of the end result and then go from there. Okay, so I feel like you don't need to, micromanage and plan every little thing. I know we did say that there could be certain details you don't know, and that could be true, but I don't feel like you have to know every single detail. Let's just keep moving forward. But again, for some of you, yeah, it could be an unexpected win or victory. That could be very good for you. But again, at the same time, whatever situation you're dealing with, just know what you want your end goal to be. Let's see what that 7 of Swords has. And you're protected. I feel like that needs to be said again. With the 2 of Wands in reverse, it's like whatever happens, you're going to be okay. You'll be okay. So why is the 7 of Swords here? Okay. All right, so this could really represent somebody that's been through the ringer. This could be somebody that's been around the block a few times. So there might be somebody that you're dealing with or that you are connected to that they have a rough history. Now, that doesn't make excuses if you're dealing with a person and their behavior towards you is not right. I mean, you ever hear the phrase hurt people hurt people? That's kind of like what I'm picking up here in the center, but still no excuse, right? Now, the 6 of Cups to me is a card of soul ties, soul connections, history, past, memories. So when I see it underneath the 7 of Swords, I'm feeling like somebody has a bit of a history that they're not really being forthcoming about, or there's a piece of their history or their past that they don't really speak about or acknowledge for whatever reason. There's a certain part of it where it's like, no, that doesn't need to be addressed. I'm just going to put that to the side. So again, if we are talking about a situation, though, when I see the 7 of Swords and the 6 of Cups, it's like your spirit guides and team are like, Saggy, you already know what this is. You have been through something similar like this before. You have been through something similar to this before. So you kind of already know what you need to do. I don't know why I'm coming through with these long extended meanings for these cards, but I feel like for a lot of you, whatever situation you might be dealing with, I feel like you already know what you have to do. Like you've probably been through something similar if it's not exactly the same. So let's just keep moving forward and see what the Ace of Swords has to say. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So your reading's coming through in a totally different way than any of the other signs I've filmed for already, which, I mean, that makes sense. But let's see why that Ace of Swords is here. Queen of Swords. Yeah. And this is where you're picking up the shadows or similarities to the other fire signs this week. We have the Queen of Swords showing up in the upright underneath the Sword of Truth, the Ace of Swords. For a lot of Saggies in this time, it's just about being straightforward and honest with yourself and with another person and about a situation. You shouldn't have to really brush something under the rug, but when I see the Queen of Swords, similar to the Ace of Swords, she's straightforward, no nonsense, no BS. So this signals two things to me. One, there is something that you really need to have a very serious talk or conversation about. Or there could be a situation where you're in game over type of mode, where it's like, listen, I'm not dealing with this no more, complete game over, not playing. It is what it is. So for a small portion of Saggies, that could really be the case. There could be a situation or something where it's like, you don't even want to, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I don't want to deal with that situation no more. But a big thing I'm picking up here for some of you, if there is something that you want to readdress or talk about it, you just got to be straightforward and blunt. And listen, I know a lot of Saggies, you guys don't have any issues about being blunt. So pull on that strength, and whatever it is you're dealing with, just be straightforward and to the point about it. So yeah, serious talk or game over mode and mindset. So, I mean, interesting stuff here, Saggy, but let's go through and do a quick recap, and we'll get into the shadow card. So there's a lot of different interpretation showing up in your reading this week, but if you kindly look in the box, position number 1, we have the Star with the Two of Wands in reverse. Now, as I mentioned, for some of you, this could just be an unexpected winter victory, which would be awesome. But I also feel like for whatever situations you're dealing with, you need to think of the best possible outcome for yourself, and you don't have to micromanage it. There could be something where even if it is a process, you just need to know what you're shooting for, like what your end goal is, how you want something to turn out, and the rest will kind of start falling into place. Moving to the center, we have the Seven of Swords with the Six of Cups. This is somebody that's been through quite a few things. Now, if you are dealing with an individual where they're not being straightforward or they're not treating you right or whatever it might be, even if they're like nasty and mean or cold, I mean, hurt people. That's a vibe I'm picking up here as well. But at the same time, there's no excuse for that type of behavior. Aside from that, this is somebody that doesn't want to acknowledge something from their past as well. So it could be those things in different ways. It doesn't have to be all of them. This could be someone where it's like there's a certain part of their past they're not really being super forthcoming about. Moving to the back end, we have the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords. That's a very no games, no BS, no nonsense type of mode of mindset. Either there is something that you need this information, you need these details, and you need to have a very serious talk or conversation about it, or this is someone that's saying like, I'm not even messing around, I'm not playing games, game over, that's it. Like, that's what I'm picking up back here. So Saggy, please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. I mean, this is someone putting their foot in the ground, and that's not normally what I see in your readings, but let's see what shows up in the shadows. So let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. What do we have? And if you've made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this card out. Let's get this card out. What is in the shadows for my Saggies, please? Thank you. Oh, okay. So you have the High Priestess, and she almost jumped completely out of my hand. So like she came out like a live wire. And she kind of does fit in with a portion of what shows up within this reading. Now, the High Priestess can represent Pisces. I also link it to other water signs. So if you're connected to a water sign, this could be them showing up here. But she's subtle energy. She's an energy of information, sacred knowledge. Psychics, intuitives, tarot readers, she is the matron of all that. But when I see her, she's shrouded, she's a little secretive. So it's funny that she shows up within the shadows itself, and we were seeing within the reading itself that there could be a situation that you need more detail. Okay, whether it is a person, whether it's a situation in general, you just need a little more detail about it before you can make an informed decision. Okay, and I feel like that's showing up once again here with the High Priestess. For a lot of you, this is the most intuitive card. So with whatever situations you're going through, your gut, your intuition is not leading you wrong. So we're just going to put her down right there. And yeah, Saggy, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the November subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out my digital calendar and book one on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. But for the November subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of one of my all-time favorite decks, the Gilded Tarot Royale. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards, which one do you feel is the most misunderstood? And if you're new to tarot completely, which one do you have a little trouble with understanding its meaning? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.